I'm going to talk through an idea here very briefly. TCIY, TCIY Labs, TCI. I like the idea. From what I've found is 4 initial names are 1/100th the cost of 3 initial or 2 initial names. So if we have the 4 initial names, it leaves room for 4-word phrases that could mean something later. So TCIY is one of the examples where it could stand for they can't ignore you. So if we use TCIY.contact, that's a domain we can get. And it signals, hey, contact us. Like you're interested in this appeals to you. It means something, you contact us. And when you type that link in, you're expecting to go sign up or get in touch. Then also because it stands for something, TCIY, they can't ignore you, it's very likely that we can get the domain they can't ignore you.com. So I think it's a good way to think about getting domains and brands, getting access to brand names that mean something, but at a fraction, like I said, a 1/100th of the cost. And then the thing about TCIY, they can't ignore you.com, TCIY.contact, and then have the headline be they can't ignore you. Sub headline being, if you're not getting this is just rough draft. If you're not getting the business you feel you deserve, it comes down to 3 reasons, or it comes down to 3 problems. It comes down to one of the 3 problems. 1, what you're saying is not valuable enough, i.e., you're being ignored. 2, you're not publishing enough content. Or 3, you're not distributing enough content. So it's one of the 3. 2 and 3, you could argue are the same, but I'm making a distinction between publishing enough content versus distributing enough content. Because publishing, let's say you're publishing more than enough content to YouTube, and I take a look at it. We survey a couple of your customers, and the content is objectively useful and valuable. But maybe it's not being distributed enough to TikTok, or even from YouTube to YouTube Shorts, or from YouTube to Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, Pinterest, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, on and on and on. So I'm making a distinction between publishing enough content versus distributing enough content. The first phrase, they can't ignore you. What you're saying is not valuable enough. Go to TCIY headline, they can't ignore you. When social media is not working for you, it's probably because you're being ignored. When social media is not working for you, it's because you're ignored. And the 3 reasons you can look at that are making you ignorable are 1, what you're saying is not valuable enough, or what you're saying is not valuable enough to your customer. No. What you're saying is not valuable enough to hear. 2, you're not publishing enough content. Or 3, you're not distributing enough content. TCIY Labs, TCIY, they can't ignore you. This phrase comes from the latter half, influenced from the latter half of Cal Newport's book, So Good, They Can't Ignore You. So we want to make content that is, if you're making content right now and it's not bringing you the results that you want, chances are the content you're making is ignorable for one of the 3 reasons. 1, what you're saying is not valuable enough. 2, you're not publishing enough content. Or 3, you're not distributing enough content. All right. And there's a slightly different strategy for each one of these problems, but the chances are that your problem resides in a combination of these 3. 1, what you're saying is not valuable enough. That's part of the problem. 2, you're not publishing enough content. That's also part of the problem. And 3, even if you are publishing the bare minimum amount of content, you're not distributing enough content. So let's take a look at that combination for you and how you can do better in those areas.